Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something. Welcome back to another episode of MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. And if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. So, today we're going to be working on my newly acquired 1997 F250 Powerstroke, and it's the one that came along with the trailer. And you know, I'm going through it, checking everything out. We did have one failure on it. On the way back from Indiana, it lost an injector, so I had to replace the injector. And then I noticed that it was having some trouble with water in the fuel. So today what we're going to do is we're going to drop the fuel tanks out of it and dump them out, clean them out. And I don't know whether we picked up some bad fuel before I bought the truck. Each tank had about a quarter of a tank in it when I got it. I filled it up on the way back from Linden, Tennessee. And you know, he said that the water and fuel light was coming on. So my guess is that it was there before I bought the truck. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, so the tools we're going to need, at least to get started on this job, is some penetrating oil. Whatever your favorite is no biggie. You're going to need a 13mm wrench. That's going to be on the top head of the bolt that holds the gas tank in. You'll need a screwdriver to undo the hose clamp on the filler neck, and you're going to need a 15mm deep well socket, preferably an impact, to get the nut off that holds the strap up in there that actually holds the gas tank in, and a rubber framing hammer in case you need it, and a persuasion bar if you need it, and of course I recommend an impact wrench, but you can do it with hand tools. Get this clamp undone here. You want to take it easy. Sometimes, you know, dirt will get thrown all up in this clamp, mud get kicked up by the tires and all that. So don't try to fight the clamp. You don't want to break it or kill it. And just walking around there and back her off. Then you'll want to wall her around the hose here. One, to break the hose loose from the filler tube or filler neck where you put your fuel in, and two, knock some of the dirt and spooge or whatever, mud and dirt daubers and whatever else may have gotten in there. A little bit of compressed air might be nice too, blow everything off there. Now invariably what's going to happen is if you have a water and fuel condition and you know you have a considerable amount of water in the tank, it's going to happen probably right after you fill the tank up. So you know, you go somewhere and you get bad fuel and all of a sudden your water and fuel light pops on. You don't want to really drive the truck if you can help it. So the reason being is the water is going to lay in the bottom of the tank. So if you have an inch of water in there, that's what's going to get picked up, not diesel fuel. So, and with these newer trucks with these Huey injectors, you don't want to get water in them. The newer trucks nowadays, I mean, water and fuel remediation kit, I was just talking to the guy up at the Ford dealer, and it's like $6,000. And that's new injectors and fuel lines and filters and socks and all this kind of stuff. That's how sensitive the newest diesel trucks are to water. Now this thing will probably eat some water and you can get away with it, but no bueno on the new trucks. So Also, what I'm going to do because of that, now I unfortunately you know, don't have that much to worry about even if the tank was full, because I have a transmission jack. But in the event that you've got a bad batch of fuel, you'll want to siphon the tank out as much as you can and get it as empty as you can, especially if you're on your back in your driveway with, you know, jack stands and things like that. Here I got it kind of easy because I got the truck up on a lift and I got a hydraulic transmission jack. I can get right up under here, which is the center of the mass and the lowest point of the tank, you know, and just lower the tank out of the truck and easy peasy. But you know, I would recommend that you have two people to do it if you're doing it on your own. Have one guy at the front of the tank and one guy at the back, and because you're going to have to finagle it and you're going to have to support it a little bit as you get those straps out, because you have to disconnect the fuel lines off that come in and out of the top of the tank. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I mean. Now that I'm kind of in a contorted yoga-like position here, I'm going to try to hold the camera as steady as I can, and you'll see that this fuel tank uses a similar retention mechanism to Brandon's Suburban when we were working on it. They're kind of like a snap lock sort of connector, and we'll have to use a special tool. So I'll have to take those two safety clips off, and then I can get that tool in there and pop the send and return lines loose. It'll slide right off. The wire I'm not worried about because there's a breakaway connector up at the frame rail, and the third line is just that little vent hose which comes free with the tank. So I'll get the tool and show you what we're going to be using here. Okay, so we'll be using our little fuel injection line remover kit here, and what'll happen is that those little nipples right there will slide in there and spread that spring clip out and unlock it and allow us to slide the fitting off. It's kind of like a shim, basically, what it's doing. Okay, now it's a matter of finagling the tank down. Okay, once I got it down low enough, I went ahead and disconnected the hose here, loosened that hose clamp up. That seems to make life a little bit easier here. Lower this tank down to skosh, and we'll get our electrical connector undone now that we have some room to get our hands up in here. Yeah, down she comes. And you want to make sure you always have a good handle on this tank, because it's going to want to teeter every which way back and forth on you while you're trying to hold this thing. And the more fuel you have in the tank, the more cantankerous it's going to be. And there we have it. So now what I've done is I've plugged this and this line here so that nothing can get down in there, and I've covered this, because now you can see there's all kind of dirt and spooge here. So we're going to blow all that off, because we don't want any more trash falling down in the tank than we have to. Then we'll use our little framing hammer, pop our snap ring loose here, and you'll want to go counterclockwise with it. And you'll notice I knocked a bunch more crap loose there, so we're going to blow it off again. Before we get it all the way off. Alright, and that takes this little snap, or this little ring loose here. Then the sending unit and the pickup will all come out as a unit. A brass float. When's the last time you saw one of those? So, what do we think is wrong with this picture? Let me get it to where you can actually see stuff here in the camera. See this right here? There is supposed to be a sock there, and it's missing. Now, it's not a fine mesh sock like you would have in a gasoline car, but it is a screen, and the piece that's on there is broken and missing. And what that'll do also is that will decrease your driving range, because that thing comes down, you know, a little bit further towards the bottom of the tank. See that down in there? Kind of looks like a rolled up condom almost, but actually that's a screen, and that's all the busted bits that used to be part of it. And I don't know if I can see further down here. There's more busted bits down there. So I'm gonna have to get in there and fish all that junk out of there as much as I can before I put this tank back up in the truck. The sending unit doesn't seem to be too bad a shape. It has a little rust on it. We'll see. If the sending unit's cheap enough, I'll just buy the whole thing. But that's going to bring us to a stop tonight, because it's a work night. So I got to shut it down and go in and clean up and get some victuals and wind down for the evening. So stay tuned for next time we'll do a part 2 where we put it all back together and put it back up in the truck. So thanks for watching.